I like this framing here.
I'm not a Stark.
You are to me.
Oh,
Damn right.
huh.
You're the Lady of Winterfell. You deserve it. We're standing here because of you. You told me Lord Baelish sold you to the Boltons.
You did.
And you trust him?
Only a fool would trust little things.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty much.
Should have told you about him.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The Knights of the Vale.
yeah. And about how he's trying to mac on her.
As he was like almost dead in that pile.
God, I can't believe they're the only ones. Oh, and Arya, but
I was gonna say she's still alive somewhere.
oh yeah, Bran's still
And
out there
Bran.
somewhere, right?
And Bran is
A raven came from the citadel.
Oh,
A white raven.
oh,
Winter is here.
oh.
mm-mm-mm.
Been hearing it's coming this whole damn time. That's new.
Well, Father always promised, didn't he?
That's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I think their chemistry is pretty good. A lot of their conversations I've enjoyed between Sansa and Jon Snow. We need that
Dorne!
love.
Tyrell came to Dorne,
Oh.
he was assassinated. 100 red scorpions, was it?
Olenna walking with us.
Say
Say it
You
stinks.
murder your own prince, but you expect me to trust you?
Oh,
We invited you to Dorne because we needed your help.
Yes.
You needed our help.
Let's do this.
What is your name again? Barbara?
Obara.
Barbara.
oh my gosh, she's
That
back
little
on my
boy don't
screen.
presume to tell me what I need.
Oh, I love her. I'm sorry, forgive me, guys.
What she lacks in diplomacy, she
Do
makes.
shut up, dear.
Oh, hey, you don't talk to her like that.
No, good. Let the grown women speak.
What?
The
Jesus.
Lannisters have
Everybody's getting the toothpaste.
They have declared war on Dorne. We
She's
must
so
act
badass, though. I respect her.
if we wish to survive. It is not survival I offer. It is your heart's desire.
Let's do this.
What is my heart's desire?
Ferris.
Vengeance. Justice.
Was that what his secret mission was? I knew it. I knew that bald head.
Fire and blood.
Worlds are colliding.
Damn, so wait, hold up. Dorne's gonna join them?
You're not coming with us.
Oh.
New strategy?
Why not?
I guess Daenerys is not interested in him anymore.
You're not going to Westeros. You will keep the peace while the people choose their own leaders.
Fuck Marine.
That's a nice thing to say.
It's like, bitch, hold on.
My sword is
Yeah.
yours. My life is yours. This is what I command.
Who are you marrying this time?
I don't know.
Are you a queen or fish bait?
Oh,
Oh, well, this is going well.
I can't bring a lover. So that's what you want? To be my mistress?
I'm not. I don't.
I mean,
perfumed
if you're
aristocrat
Alfred.
beside you in the throne room. I don't want a crown.
Daria said yes. I'm down to be the mistress.
Hey, I mean, I can't blame him.
Bruh, she is like, you are my boy thing that I don't need right now. Oh.
Make you happy.
Poor Dario.
Bring me with you.
Oh, damn.
Let me fight for you.
He's in love.
You know, I don't think it's reciprocated.
It's cold. Oh, Dario.
Poor guy.
Specific orders will be left for you regarding the welfare of Marine and the Bay of Dragons.
The Bay of Dragons.
We can't call it Slaver's Bay anymore, can we?
Yeah, kind of a title you can't use yet.
You'll get that throne you want so badly, I'm sure of it.
Damn, that was a rough
The
pickup.
Lords of Westeros. They have no idea what's coming for them.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, man. Well, it was fun, Dario.
Our guy was like drafting battle strategies. He was ready to go.
I was gonna say the second sons were dope, but I get it, I guess.
How did you take it?
I said farewell to a man who loves me. A man I thought I cared for. And I felt nothing.
Oh,
Just impatient to get on with it.
damn.
That's cold-hearted right
He
there.
wasn't the first to love you. And he won't be the last.
Jorah's still out there, Daenerys.
Yeah, with
Don't
that
forget
damn
him.
stone disease.
I've completely failed what you told me.
And yet, here I am. I believe in you. It's embarrassing, really.
It's your counsel I need.
It's yours. Now and always.
Good.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm not sure if it's right.
Is it like her own little like hand of the king kind of thing? It is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tyrion Lannister. I name you Hand of the Queen.
Whoop, whoop. He has
Oh.
experience, baby.
Oh, dear.
Nice.
Oh god, this guy again. Looks disgusting.
You're not one of mine, are you?
No, my lord.
Too pretty.
Okay.
Well,
Where are my damn moron sons? Black Walder Eldar
Fucking
promised
creep.
to be here by midday.
But they're already here, my lord. Here, my
Are
lord.
they talking about in the pie? She is. Ew.
They weren't easy to carve,
Ooh.
especially Black Walder.
Some Midsommar shit, man.
Oh, it's it's Arya.
My name is Arya Stark. I want you to know that. The last thing you're ever going to see.
You were on the list,
Stark
my friend.
looking down at you as you die.
Oh
Oh.
my god,
Oh.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
He's on that Beatrix Kiddo tit, man. She is an assassin.
Bye bye.
God, I'm so happy and it's so violent. Weird. It's a weird feeling.
Arya just loves to violently murder everyone.
I feel like that's
Jesus, no,
all of
seriously.
Arya's scenes. I'm so happy, but it's so violent.
Pretty much, yeah.
Bye,
Oh.
Walder.
Yeah.
Didn't come soon enough, but it came.
Awesome. Oh my
Whoop.
god.
That and the sons got put into Sweeney Todd pies.
That pie is one of
That
like
was
the most
great.
gruesome things in this whole show, I think.
Damn, what a moment.
The best pies in London.
Oh, this motherfucker right here. Like, is he here to make out again? Like,
I hope not.
Great to be somewhere else.
what are we doing here?
Will this action help to make this picture a reality?
You're getting a little too close, little finger.
Yep. He needs to back the fuck up.
A picture of me on the Iron Throne.
Hmm.
You by my side.
No, I can't really see that happening. Yeah.
Nice.
Please stop.
It's a pretty picture.
Oh, you got curved, little finger. Take that.
News of this battle will spread quickly through the Seven Kingdoms.
Huh?
I've declared for House Stark for all to hear.
You've declared for other houses before Lord Baelish. It's never stopped you from serving yourself.
Oh,
The North rally behind. True-born daughter of Ned and Catelyn Stark, born here at Winterfell. Or a motherless bastard born in the South.
oh.
Screw you, little finger.
What was he trying to do there?
Seems like he was trying to win Sansa over, I guess.
Stands, the dead cannot pass. I cannot pass.
Poor Miranda just chilling. Well, all right. I guess bye, Engine. Thanks for coming. Now, what will Bran and Mira do?
I have to be ready for this.
Well, let's see what this is all about. Should be interesting to see what's the rest of this flashback from before. Come on, I want to hear what she's trying to whisper.
Whose baby is that? That's not King Robert's baby, right?
I don't think so. Oh, it's John. I guess.
I
Interesting.
am so confused. So Catelyn wasn't his mom? Oh, not
Catelyn
Catelyn.
was never his mom.
Yeah, she
we
never
knew
liked
who his
him.
mom was. Okay.
Didn't invade.
That's interesting.
So he is a Stark.
I don't know. I don't think that was what was implied.
No, because that was Ned's sister, right?
We find our true friends on the battlefield. The true enemy won't wait out the storm. He brings the storm.
Oh.
That's a cool line, actually. as dire as the situation is, that line is pretty cool. Oh, Leanna.
Yeah?
What you got to say, girl?
Your son was butchered at the Red Wedding, Lord Manderley. But you refused the call.
All right, stand up, throw some shade.
Swore allegiance to House Stark, Lord Glover.
Well, here we go.
In their hour of greatest need, you refused the call.
Yeah.
And you, Lord Kerwin, your father was skinned alive by Ramsay Bolton. Still, you refused the call.
Yeah. Another one. Going down the line.
Vermont remembers.
She's spitting facts.
The North remembers. We know no king, but the king in the North whose name is Stark.
I like her.
She's the
I
Bob.
don't care if he's a bastard. Ned Stark's blood runs through his veins. He's my king, from this day until his last day.
Ah!
Yeah.
King of the North!
And he's already died once and came back. Let's do this.
Dude, I would go to war for that little girl. I have her back.
She's a ride or die.
Speaks harshly. And truly.
Mm-hmm.
She's spitting facts.
Jon Snow avenged the Red Wedding. He is the White Wolf. The king in the North.
Oh.
All right.
Here.
The troops are rallying.
And I will stand behind Jon Snow.
Well, at least he's friendly now, right?
In the North. The king in the North.
Where's my sword? I wish I had a sword.
Yay.
I raised my sword.
Go, John. The king in the North. The king in the North.
Yes.
That's why you're alive, Jon Snow. He didn't know, but now he knows. Sansa's like, yeah, I can kick it now.
Oh.
Yeah. What you got up your sleeve, Littlefinger?
Yeah, I don't trust him for shit.
I've never trusted Littlefinger. Since day one.
Oh.
You know, it's funny, Tyler. I liked him at first, but
How dare you?
he
Look at
turned
Jamie
on
seeing
Ned,
that
and
damn
I
smoke.
never forgave him since. He's like, you never should have trusted me. I was like, fuck.
Like the new digs?
Evil. Well, that makes her. She should be in. That means she's in charge now. I assume.
I know, right? Who else is gonna sit on the throne? Son's
Nobody,
dead.
nobody's
Queen's
left.
dead.
Nobody's left. She blew up all the competition.
Maester's dead.
Marjorie.
They're all blown up. Yeah, she's in charge now. She's the queen again. This woman. What a shitty way to become queen again.
I was gonna say that's just such a whack.
Oh shit, Jamie is like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have a lot of questions.
Queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms.
Protector, huh?
That word is used in a way I don't think you're supposed to be using it.
I don't like it.
I'm indifferent.
Low-key, I love this. They're like intersplicing that theme from the beginning of this episode with the Lannister theme.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with Jamie, very perplexed right now. Like, what the hell did you do when that time I was gone?
Where is our son?
Seriously.
She did it. It's
Fucking
been
hell.
her ambition.
Oh,
what cost?
man.
The queen.
At what cost, though? At what cost?
Oh, there's more?
I guess. But wait, there's more. They're just gonna finally sail. They're finally sailing over.
Yeah, and the sullied.
We got the flags and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah. Honestly,
the
she's
dragon.
deep now. She's got the Dothraki, getting sullied.
All right, so we're finally making progress. We're sailing over.
There they are, facing their fears and sailing.
Got dragons overhead. I mean, how do you lose? I mean, come on. I mean, there's 3 of them. I mean, Drogon is obviously much bigger, but still. He's bigger than
That
that
was a
shit.
really cool shot. Damn, and they got Dorne, right?
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good for Daenerys.
Woohoo!
She's gonna go sail over and hang out with Cersei. Look at that army and dragons. Damn. We're coming, Cersei.
There you go. That's how you end an episode.
Woo!
Man, that shit's got me pumped.
It was like you said, Larry, there's always some sadness and then some uplifting stuff with Daenerys.
There's always Danny coming in close to the end of the episode.
We were going to end on a sad
man.
note with Cersei being queen, and they're like, actually, Daenerys is heading over.
Right, that was a season 6, episode 10, The Winds of Winter. I think this is one of those finales where we touch on like every storyline. They're like, you know what, we got to catch up on everything before we move into season number 7.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I guess let's start with some of the more inconsequential, the smaller ones. Samwell and Gilly, they arrive in Old Town and they are at the Citadel.
Yeah.
So he is finally there to become a maester. That man is very strange, and Gilly, as we knew, was not going to be allowed in, and she is denied entry. But Samwell is let in, and now he has access to basically all of the history and knowledge of Westeros. So it was merely a scene in this madness, Tyler, but how did you feel about Samwell?
I mean, it was sweet to see that finally culminate and see him make it there and get to, I guess, live out his dreams, because that was kind of like his whole goal, was to do that. Still, like we were talking about, I don't know what that entails for Gilly and the child, where they're going to go while this is going down, what they're going to do. But at least in the interim, it's going to be very fun to see Samuel live out his dream and gain all of this knowledge. And he's got his very awesome house sword. We'll see if maybe inevitably that'll lead to something down the line, him using that sword.
Bane.
Right. But yeah, so we'll see where he ends up. I'm not entirely sure what the future for his character will be with him just, learning to be a maester and where that will entail. I guess there's an opening now with Pycelle being
Well, wasn't
brutally.
that the original plan when he left John?
Yeah.
All right, Lo, how'd you feel about Samuel's little bit here?
Given the entire season, I guess it was fitting to tie the knot on that, but there's also a part of me that, like, I was so invested in everything else. Like, they could have did this as the intro to season 7, and I wouldn't have blinked an eye. I would have been like, "Oh, hey, there's Sam!" Like, but at the same time, I am happy for him and little Sam and Gilly. But kind of like what Tyler was illustrating, it's kind of interesting. Like, where do they go? Like, what are they gonna do? Are they sleeping in the gutter? What's going on here? So. I'm happy for Sam though. He was genuinely joyful going into that library, and I kind of felt that with him. I'm very empathetic, so just seeing his little eyes light up, like, look at all these books, like, that was a cool moment just to share with him. So
Right. Then we had Bran, Mira, and Benjen arrive to the wall. We learn a little bit about the lore of the spells that are intertwined in the creation of the wall, part of why it stands as tall as it is. And in that, we hear a maybe potentially pivotal piece of information that the undead cannot cross. Only the living can come through the wall. So Benjen has to stay behind. And now Mira and Bran are on their own once more and heading back beyond the wall. But he gets one last vision in. And I guess we'll just go ahead and tie that in to John's storyline here. He goes back to that vision he has seen many a time at this point. And since, the three-eyed raven isn't there to stop him from following his father up into that castle, he goes on up there. We see Lyanna Stark, and she has given birth to a child, and she's kind of pleading with Ned. And we see in transition form that this small child turns out to be Jon Snow. Then we cut back to present. The houses are all kind of bickering, and Lyanna Mormont comes through like an MVP and is like, y'all, look it, none of y'all came to the battle, and y'all should be ashamed. All the mess that your families have been through, and you denied the call. And so they feel properly shamed and stand up and once more declare a king in the north, this time for Jon Snow. Meanwhile, we see Littlefinger given eyes, and that's because earlier in the episode, he talked to Sansa. Now, we had a nice little combo with Sansa and Jon where she's like, you're a Stark to me, and, you deserve the Lord of Winterfell. And
Lord of
she's like, nah, you deserve to be the Lady of Winterfell, to be honest. But Littlefinger decides to start pushing his own edge, reveals his underlying plan at all times is to get to that Iron Throne with Sansa by his side, and that he only makes moves that will help further him towards that plan. So, how did y'all feel, starting with Lo, about the Bran Jon storyline of the episode?
that was huge. That was mind blowing. So I guess, like, just to confirm my thoughts, so Ned was not his father. He just looked after him, right? So
I mean,
That's what it seemed
finally,
like, at least.
we solved a mystery that we have been waiting an answer for since season 1. We did learn who his mother is, at least.
Right, right. So that's kind of cool, and it's funny because the entire 5 seasons he's a bastard. He's a bastard. He's with the Watch, the bastard from the Watch, and it's like now it's like, oh, he's a Stark, and now he's King of the North. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for Jon, and I think for fans of the character especially, it's definitely a pleasant surprise to get that reveal in the flashback. I kept wondering where this three-eyed raven stuff was going, but the deeper we kind of got into his little flashback, it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. So there's like that magical element to the story now that it's starting to come around now. So yeah, it's good to know.
Right, Tyler.
Yeah, I guess to piggyback off what he was saying, it was intriguing to finally get kind of the full circle moment when it comes to the stuff with Bran and his character and his development. Because I mean, his story was one of the ones I was not as particularly excited for the majority of the time. But now that we're getting the full picture, the full spectrum of what's going on, I think hopefully it'll continue to be good as we go on. But like we were talking about the mystery of, I guess, John's parentage, but in a way, I guess it's kind of been flipped now, because now we know who his mom is, who is Lyanna Stark, but Ned wasn't the father, so now it's who was the father instead. And based on what she was whispering and the whole protecting him and all that, I have to wonder if it's somebody or something that, well, you need protecting from. I don't think so. That could be
Yeah, I was
a
gonna say,
whole
wait,
other.
so there's still more mystery to be solved here, right?
It's just a flipped mystery instead of who was the mom, who's the dad. Now Ned
Right.
was protecting and acting like his father the whole time.
Gonna say
So
low.
that's
The
fun.
bastardhood could still be intact. We don't know. That was not answered. The bastardhood is still maybe, or maybe he's not now. We don't. That wasn't
That's true.
just his mama.
But yeah, that was my takeaway from it. Was now it's flipped around because Ned isn't the actual father. He was just the man who stepped up to the plate instead as the father. That has me intrigued.
I
Hopefully,
guess
maybe.
with both of you, a quick question is so much. Well, one, a big reason Catelyn disliked John was because it kind of reminded her of her husband breaking their oath and doing like the only dishonorable thing in his life. But two, basically the only dishonorable thing we ever knew from Ned was a lie. But in turn, also, I guess, I don't know what that does for honor, is he was lying to his whole family the whole time, but to protect another member of the family. How does that make you feel about a retroactive look at Ned and his story, Tyler?
I mean, I still think Ned was a noble character at the end of the day. Maybe a little too noble because he got killed. But I still think he was doing the right thing. Whether he had to be a little bit messy about it one way or another, for lack of a better term. I mean, it just is intriguing now with getting that full picture that he was his big lie that caused all of this strife in his family between his wife and her animosity towards Jon Snow. In hindsight, it does change things a little bit for me, but I still think in the end, who knows where John's going to go, if his father, his real father, even means anything to the story at all. But I think Ned did the right thing in the long run, even if it did. Well, everybody in that family is pretty much dead these days, but it cost him his life, his honor, and his nobility. So, I mean, Ned Stark's still the man. So I can't. I gotta defend him somehow.
All right, Lo.
Yeah, I've always considered Ned honorable, and I think this has me look at him in a brighter light, actually, because, like Tyler was saying, A, he stepped up and fathered this child that's not his, and B, he was faithful to Catelyn the whole time. It's like he didn't cheat on her, which I think that's noble. I don't think the lie is that much of a big deal to me because, in essence, he is protecting John's life in that way. So, yeah, I look at him in an even better light. It's like, damn, Ned Stark is awesome. So
yeah, I just want to know what this whole whispering is and protecting him and all that stuff. Like that's the part that has me, my gears kicking. Like what are we hiding as far as his other side of his family if Ned wasn't his father?
Right, and how do we
If it
feel about
matters at all.
a new king in the north? Last time it didn't last long, but
Yeah.
last time Stark was the king in the north. How do you feel about that Jon Snow christening, Lo?
oh, it's fantastic, and it wasn't as exciting as the Rob one because I mean that one when I've never seen it before, I was fully invested in the story, and then I was swept away with the cheers of King of the North, and this was just as exciting, but it's like just the fact that we've seen it with Rob, it took a little of its luster away, but as you know, I do like John as a character, so I think I was happy for him, but it just kind of felt repetitive seeing it before. So it's like, okay, we've been here before. This is fun. This is good and all, but it was kind of more of like seeing fireworks for the second time when you've already seen the show. It's like, okay, that's good. But you kind of like, all right,
and Tyler.
I thought it was great. I mean, I felt like it was the best way to culminate this journey, from life, death, and now resurrection. It was a great arc for John to finally just become the king after all the stuff he's had to endure, being a bastard child and persevering over these insane odds that he's been put up against, between Ramsay Bolton and the wildlings in the past and all these other crazy obstacles. I think he's more than deserved this promotion, if you will. So it is great to see everybody rallying up behind him. I mean, sure. I mean, Sansa's also had some great development as well. I think that's one of the better things about this season in particular, that Sansa has actually become a much more well-rounded, fleshed out character that is willing to stand up for herself. As we've seen her, her developments with Littlefinger. I mean, Littlefinger, she's actually standing up for herself a lot more this season, which is something that I enjoy because I've always hated Littlefinger. So him being shaded in any sort of way and rejected, brings me joy. It just makes me nervous for what the future holds now with Littlefinger over there plotting his own stuff, because obviously he wants to be on the throne and he wants Sansa on the throne with him. So as we were just talking about, the last king didn't last very long. So I don't know. Littlefinger might be spinning some stuff to try and stop that, plus the other conflicts that are going to go on in the future with the walkers and all that stuff coming. So I'm glad everybody's coming together, because they're going to probably need everyone to, compared to that last battle with the Boltons, it's probably going to be much more of a chaotic battle with these walkers, because I think they're going to be a bit more troublesome to take on compared to the Bolton army.
Then we see Walder Frey get roasted, shaded by Jaime Lannister, which is great. We love to see it.
I lived.
And then we're slightly introduced to this girl running around here. This is this new little girl. And she serves him a pie that we learn are his children, baked up into a meat pie. And this girl rips her face off to reveal Arya Stark, saying, I wanted you to know that the last thing you will ever see is a Stark staring down at you as you die. And she slits Walder Frey's throat. She killed his lineage, his little children as well, fed it to him, the whole ordeal. And also got revenge on the Red Wedding. So we've had 2 Starks, or 3 really, Sansa, Jon, and Arya, getting some Red Wedding revenge here in the last couple of episodes. And Walder Frey is dead. So Tyler, how do you feel about the Arya Walder Frey stuff?
Oh man, I mean, that was another satisfying moment, because Walder Frey has been awful since the get-go. Going back, I remember that he was on the list for the Red Wedding. That's her little list that she had. So it was. I guess if she was going to go anywhere after surviving what she just endured with the waif, I guess that would probably be one of her first stops. Is just go kill Walder Frey. Did her faceless man training came in handy there. Did her little magic act. Pretty great. Just to add the insult to injury, I did think it was a great addition to her revenge to, I guess, murder his sons off screen and then put them in a pie. I didn't know that Arya also had baking, that kind of. Well, we've seen her do baking stuff before, so I guess it did come in handy. So her baking skills and her murdering skills and her faceless man training all finally came together for one perfect brutal murder, because we were talking about it before. Every time Arya murders somebody, it's usually great to see, because it's usually she's killing someone that we don't like at all, but it's always so violent. It's never simple death with Arya. It's always throat slashes and stabs and stabbing out eyes.
All right, Lo, how do you feel about Arya getting that little kill in?
I was gonna say, what was that chubby boy's name? Warm Pie or something like that?
Warm Pie.
I missed that.
He would be
I love
proud.
how that's so much more ridiculous to me than Hot Pie, but
I'm sorry, it's been a while, but shouts out Hot Pie. He would be proud of Arya's baking skills. That was brutal. That was awesome. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. That was probably like my favorite moment of the episode, just because I didn't see it coming. It was a
No.
huge surprise. It was a glorious revenge for the Red Wedding, and Arya Stark is so badass. She is like the Westeros version, like effed up version of Batman. Like her League of Shadows is like the House of Black and White. That's her League of Shadows. She doesn't agree with the morals, so she went on her own way. But her parents are dead. She's out for blood, and it's she's like a little superhero. It's so cool, and it was like just to see like some revenge on screen after all the Starks have been through. I love it. I'm here for it. And Filch, good riddance. I'm glad to see him off the face of this earth along with his house. It was epic. That's actually my favorite moment of this episode, maybe out of the whole show. It's really great.
Ooh. Well, then we go to King's Landing where we start the episode, and
Tense as hell.
we have this amazing score just going off. Ramin Djawadi just went ham with this episode score. But we see Cersei getting ready. This pretty militant looking like black dress, had like the armor up here and the like chains. Yeah, well, okay, girl. But she looks pretty chill for being ready to be put to trial. We see Loras put on trial. He confesses. They put that freaking sparrow sign into his head. His dad was like shook. Marjorie was even a little bit shook. She was like, "What the hell are you doing? This is not what you told me you were going to do." Sparrow.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Girl, please take a seat. Like, well, he'll be free soon once we get to Cersei." Meanwhile, though, Marjorie's like, "But she's not here. So what's going on?" So he sends Lancel out, but instead of going to the Red Keep, Lancel decides to follow a small child into these damn like back alleys. Maester Pycelle is lured into the like little creepy dungeon of Qyburn by the little birds as well, where he is brutally murdered, stabbed to death by these small children. Lancel gets shanked and taken down to where he can't really walk. He's kind of like crawl down below. All the while, Marjorie's like wheels are turning. She sees Tommen is also not in attendance, and she tells the High Sparrow, like, "Bruh, what do you think? There's a reason these people are not here. We have to go." He's a little bit too smug. He has that power complex that he preaches against so much, but he has that himself as well. He refuses to let them go. And, well, Lancel firsthand sees the wildfire explode underneath the sept of... We did see somebody get squashed by a bell. We see a huge, basically the Catholic Church, basically the Vatican of Westeros, get blown up. Tommen is watching, devastated, completely shook. Cersei's watching, smug and happy. And then Tommen decides this is too much. His mom is so effed up. Everything he's been fighting for, his wife, who he's been fighting for, all just got murdered. And so he kills himself and jumps
out a window. Like of all the ways to go. I've seen that gift before.
Yeah.
I think I have anyway.
And then Cersei is basically just like, probably her most despondent response to one of her kids dying. I mean, I guess she's had this prophecy when she was a little girl. That was part of that prophecy she got. Her kids would all die. And she just says to burn him and bury him where the sept once stood and moves on. Jaime comes back to King's Landing to smoke and to see a new person being crowned. When he left, his son was the king. And he's not here any longer. Instead, his lover and twin sister has now taken the throne, and Cersei Lannister is named Queen of the Seven Kingdoms after she killed Marjorie Tyrell, the High Sparrow, Loras, Lancel, Mace Tyrell, Maester Pycelle, and Kevin.
Or Kevin.
All in damn Sept of Baelor.
That and also on like the side, she's just like torturing Septa Unella with the mountain.
And on the side, she is
somewhere.
Septa Unella. So, how did you feel about King's Landing and basically Cersei's revenge this episode, Lo?
Oh man, that was a hell of an opening. Like you said, the score was incredible. The ominous bell, like kind of just pulsating, kind of carrying us along, and then the piano comes in, and like it just slowly like crescendos into this masterful like explosion of disaster. And my girl Marjorie, poor thing, she didn't make out of there alive, unfortunately. I was rooting for her, but I think one reason why Cersei was so disconnected from that moment, I think her son was dead to her the second he pretty much gave her the finger, like there will be no child like combat, mother. So I think at that point she's like, you're dead to me. Like, I think at that point she's like, I'm burning it all. You're with the High Sparrow. I'll kill you all. I think in that moment she probably made the decision already. I gotta say that is one of the most impactful moments of the series as well. Like I said, I was likening it to The Godfather because it reminded me when Michael Corleone cleaned house in The Godfather. We'll talk about a rise to power. Like that is straight up mafioso, cold blooded. And look, I don't like Cersei. Like I don't like her, but I respect the vision. That is epic, and that is a hell of a way to eliminate all your enemies, and now you are the queen of the land. It's amazing.
All right, Tyler.
Oh man, I was shook. I mean, that's like I guess the best one word way to describe my feelings because I saw it coming. Because I remembered last episode when Tyrion was talking to Daenerys about how the Mad King had stored all of that stuff under the Sept, and then I remembered that as Lancel was crawling on the ground under the Sept, and was like, "Oh shit, that's all under there." And it's just like it clicked in me, like, "Oh." And it's green, so I recognize the wildfire now that I remember what it's called. What the hell, man? I mean, we've seen some pretty vicious, cold-blooded stuff in the show, but I mean, Cersei just killed like the majority of the cast of this storyline, pretty much. It's a good thing Jamie, poor Jamie. Jamie leaves and comes back, and now he has no children, and his sister girlfriend is on the throne. That's going to be wild to see next season how that's going to play into their relationship, I feel, because I mean they've both done some pretty despicable things to get back to one another, but this is probably one of arguably, if not the worst thing that Cersei has done in the entire show, where she just blew up the entire Sept with everyone in it, the High Sparrow, Marjorie, Loras, like everyone. So that's one way to take out your enemies. I mean, that's one hell of a plan B. Almost makes you kind of wish that plan A would have just happened. We could have avoided a giant explosion of the Sept if they just did the trial by combat and the Mountain probably murdered somebody and then Cersei goes free. But yeah, what a devious plan. I don't want to say I like Cersei, especially after what she just did. She just blew up a bunch of people I actually kind of like. What a plan, man. Like she's a character you love to hate, for sure. I mean, this is probably the worst thing that she's done in the entire show. Because I'm disappointed because Marjorie, out of all of them, even though Marjorie was kind of on the fence in recent episodes with her kind of siding with High Sparrow after everything, I still figured, we were gonna, move away from that. And even she knew what was up. It was just frustrating because it was the arrogance and the smugness of the High Sparrow that he thought that he had the upper hand still, and he blew up. So, for lack of a better term. So he lost. He ended up losing in the end because of his own fault, really, in the long run.
Pretty much his whole religion, well, at least all the prominent people in his religion snuffed out too, and the one remainder is chilling in a prison, getting tortured.
And
to
whatever.
His point though of being arrogant, it's like, how could he have known there's barrels of green goo underneath him? Like, how could he have known?
I think it's just so frustrating seeing Marjorie, who knows this woman better than he does. That I think that's always the thing. It's like she knows her, and you don't know her really. I mean, you threw her in a damn cell for a while, but and you see that Marjorie truly was like just playing with the High Sparrow herself. Like she was on a long game plan. Like, let me just fuck around with this. And clearly she had other plans that she kind of revealed this episode with her brother getting him out of there. And like she's like, okay, I gotta play a different game. Unfortunately, Cersei's game was just more dramatic and deadly.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, I do think that in the end, Cersei did want to protect Tommen, obviously, because if she put the mountain in his way. You know, the mountain wasn't going to let him go. He was going to go to it and blow up with everybody, but the mountain saw that didn't happen. I guess. Well, I shouldn't say thankfully, because he still ended up jumping out of a window and killing himself. But at least he tried to delay inevitable in that sense.
She didn't want to directly kill him for sure. She did. She was mad at Tommen, but I don't think she wanted him dead.
I feel like if she
did the mountain leave when he jumped off the window? Because like,
what else is he supposed to do?
I think as soon as that place blew up, he went back to Cersei, like to go protect her in case anybody tried to come at her ass for doing that.
I felt bad for whoever that person was that got hit by that bell.
I rewatched that. I didn't see that.
Yes, as all that explosions going down, you just see the giant bell like pop down between the buildings and crush somebody. I was like, Jesus, that person got almost, I would say, the worst. I mean, they just had a giant bell crushed on them. At least everybody else.
They thought they were free too. You know, you're like running. You think you have a shot to live, and this bell just like crushes you to death. I mean, that's the thing. It's not only did Cersei kill everyone in that sept. I mean, that explosion was huge. So she killed all the people, like with any sort of vicinity there. Like there were so many just random innocent people that
you
got
imagine
murdered.
It's not just the sept. Like, yeah, you're right, Larry. Like there is homes right next to that too.
There was a lot of wildfire underneath that sept.
I mean, you know, we've been talking a lot, and Tyrion referenced him again. We talk about the Mad King. The Mad King didn't kill that many people with wildfire at once ever. So, yeah, Cersei on some next level ish when it comes to what she did.
Cersei wanted to make sure that literally everyone in there did not live.
You know, Larry, that begs an interesting point for me because I'm kind of Team Jaime right now. I don't like the incest, but I kind of liked his journey to this point. But he literally killed the Mad King to stop that. And then Cersei's will go over here, light it up. Like, so it makes me wonder what he thinks. I'm really excited to find out.
Yeah.
She literally set off the things you prevented from being set off before. She did it herself. So, well, then we got a quick emotional scene that I didn't want to lump into John's, even though he was a part of it. We got the confrontation between Davos and Melisandre. Davos finally confirmed, as we were kind of navigating the Battle of the Bastards, that Shireen died, as he found that right by the pyre. And obviously, being around her for as long as he has and seeing many people put to the torch, he knew exactly what happened. Ooh, I have to say the acting, though, oh God, he's so damn good. That Davos actor just killed it. I think it's an interesting thing. We do get more insight. I think we've gotten some insight into Melisandre in the short bits we've had of her. She says, I didn't lie. I was just wrong. I only do what the visions tell me. And I think that I don't do it just on my own or because I want to type of thing. I do it because the vision tells me type of thing. Davos makes a great point. If your God tells you to burn children alive, then your God is evil, ma'am. Like, she then counters with something John can't argue. She's like, but John is only alive right now because of me and my God. Otherwise, he would still be dead. So it was a back and forth. And at the end of the day, John, I think because she revived him, decided to exile her and just tell her, if you come back here ever again, you will be killed. And Davos is like, and I'll make sure it's by me if I see you. So I suggest you don't. So, Lo, how did you feel about this Melisandre Davos?
It took me by surprise, but I'm glad that Davos got some closure. Honestly, Shireen teaching him how to read was like one of the most heartwarming moments in a series full of blood and murder and just straight like horrific trauma. So just seeing him learn how to read and seeing their moments together was a really like uplifting moment in a pretty dark series, aside from that. So seeing her burn was terrible, and just kind of there's no justice there, but it's good to know that Davos got his closure. So in terms of his character, that was satisfying.
Oh man, like you said, like this scene in general, like I knew it was coming, after we found out the rest of the info last episode, but it's just such an intense scene all around. Just emotions were really running rampant, especially for Davos, obviously, because he had such a personal stake in it because he was so close to Shireen. We were saying, if your God is a God that burns children, that's pretty evil. Between that and then, making like the demon shadow people that kill Renly, and whatever happened with Gendry. He's somewhere. We'll talk about him eventually, I assume. But such a powerful scene. It's tough because I don't like the cop out answer of in a general sense of I was just following orders. I've never been a big fan of that because it's kind of like a cop out excuse where it's like, I was wrong. What I did was bad, but I was following orders in a sense. I think that's kind of a cop out kind of way to get out of trouble, if you will. But yeah, at the same time, that whole, magic mumbo jumbo did resurrect John. So I guess that there is some merit to whatever you want to call it. Say whatever, the Lord of the Lights or something of that matter. It'll be intriguing to see if we ever see her again. When I was thinking about it, if we ever do not see her again, I have to wonder what are we ever going to address that she's actually like ridiculously old? Like, I thought that was such an interesting plot thread to open up at the beginning of the season where she takes off everything and she's actually like ridiculously old and gray. And she even brings up kind of in this episode that she's been ready to die for a while, probably because she's quite old. I'd be kind of disappointed if we don't see her again somewhere down the line, because I feel like that's something that you shouldn't bring something like that up if you're not going to pay it off. Because that's such a cool thing that I want to see explored somewhat, just because that's such like a odd thing on top of many odd things with Melisandre. But I'm glad Dob got his closure for everything, at least to the best of his abilities, other than actually just murdering her, which I'm sure he would have gladly done, but John spared her for now.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because it begs you the question, like, is there a price to pay for John's resurrection? Like, she did it, and it's like, I'm just kind of curious, is there like a catch to this? Like, is he just alive, or does the Lord of Light expect something from him? It's kind of interesting. Like,
the only other person we've seen is Beric Dondarrion, who is also a follower of the Lord of the Light. And he also says each time he comes back, he's less of himself.
Oh, and he's died a lot.
He's died a lot.
Yeah, like 6 times, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, he is a servant of the Lord of the Light. So, but then our final storyline is the one we ended on, Daenerys. So we go over to Meereen and we see Daenerys dismissing Daria. So she sets it up as, I need you here to maintain peace. I need you to help them usher in this new era and help them elect their own official leaders. They don't need to have a queen any longer if they don't want to. I'm not going to be their queen anymore. So they let them, they're going to have a free democratic society basically here in Meereen. Help usher it in and keep the safety. Thank you, because my Unsullied are coming with me. So they're not going to be here to monitor the streets any longer. Dario was very upset. He was like, girl, that's been your mission to help these people. I ain't gave a damn about them. I'm here for you. So he was heartbroken, and we learned that she was like, for real, I was ready to just get on with it. But Tyrion's like, look, you finally have everything you want. It's time to go to Westeros. He gives kind of a speech about how we've seen it many a time, obviously, the whole show. I've been a cynic. I've gave up on hope and gave up on believing in things, but I believe in you, Daenerys. And she returns that favor by saying, look, I have something made, and I now name you Hand of the Queen. Tyrion bends the knee. I believe this is the first time we've seen him bend the knee this entire show. So he refused to bend it for Joffrey over and over and over again. Meanwhile, Varys arrives in Dorne, where we see Olenna has been summoned. She's in all black, obviously mourning her family right now. But not too mourning to get a good roast of the sand snakes in. Bloop, 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 one by one, knocks them down.
All of them. It was like, I'm just gonna roast you. I'm gonna roast you. I'm gonna roast you.
Listen, she got them all. And then gets to ARYA, who is like, look, so they killed Oberyn, and then they killed your family. We all hate the Lannisters here. So it's time to get revenge for the future of our houses. And Olenna rightfully is like, what are you talking about, future of my house? It's me, an old woman. I am the house now. My son, my granddaughter, my grandson, they're all dead. Thanks to Cersei. I don't want that. And she's like, oh, my bad. I know what you want. Revenge. And Varys pops out and is like, fire and blood. So we then cut back once more to that ending scene where we see Daenerys setting sail. We can see some Dornish suns on some of those ships. We see the Greyjoys on a ship, but also their sails. We also see some green roses of House Tyrell mixed in amongst the black and red dragons of House Targaryen. We have 3 full-grown dragons flying up above, and Daenerys and the headship heading towards Westeros. Meanwhile, though, nitpick. Varys, how did you get onto the ship? Getting from Dorne back over to Meereen to sail, sir, we'll let it slide for now, but sir, please.
Those little birds gave him the optimal route. They gave him the best route back.
And again, once more, we get one of Daenerys's big epic scores just blasting over the ending of this episode. But Tyler,
Right.
how'd you feel about Daenerys?
That was one of the more exciting elements of the episode to me, and the prospects for next season, because it seems like, not to talk early predictions, it seems like it's literally going to just be everyone culminating behind Daenerys to go face off against Cersei Lannister. And arguably, Jaime's going to be somewhere in the middle, I would assume, after we just talked about, Cersei just blew up everybody, and now she's queen, and now she has no kids, and Jaime's probably a bit indifferent towards her, if he's going to pick a side. But I mean, that's a lot of people to be on one side to go against the Cersei over there. Obviously, I'm not rooting for Cersei to win in this case because how could I? Daenerys has everybody on her side that I root for. She's Daenerys. She's got Tyrion. She's got Varys. She's got the Olenna. She's got Dorne. It's like I can't not root for her. She's got the Greyjoys that I like. So I'm excited. Olenna, once again, the MVP. It sucks that she's the only one left now out of House Martell, but it was also just great to see Dorne again, because I've been saying for episodes, like, hey, whatever happened to them? Like, we just set up that they had a coup, took over, and then we never saw them again. And it's like, okay, I know they still want revenge on the Lannisters. I mean, pick a number. Everyone hates the Lannisters. So it's great to see all of them combined their hatred for the Lannisters to come together and get behind Daenerys to go forward and probably take the throne, because she wants the throne. So that's going to be something hopefully exciting to see next season.
All right, Lo, how'd you feel about Daenerys this episode?
Awesome. It's awesome. It's all coming together for the Mother of Dragon. And to say, Larry, that I was never Team Daenerys, but just really, it's been an incremental thing for me season by season. But I've been on board since season 3, and it's something like it's maybe just a thing with dragons. But every time those wings soar, my heart soars, And then the score, like you said, and seeing Drogon's wings splash against the ocean and then fly over the ship, it's just such a cool shot. I'm ready for war. There's literally a small handful of people in this show I will go to battle for. Daenerys is one of them. Especially her speech to the Dothraki a few episodes prior. I was ready to battle for her in that moment. Will you go with me over the sea and get my throne on the wooden horses? It's yeah, I will. So she's really someone you can root for. And personally, I hate Cersei. I've hated her since the second I met her. I've never liked her. So down with the freaking Queen of King's Landing. You know, I'm all for it. I don't care who they bring on. Even the uncle, that piece of shit, wants to join, whatever. Let's take her down. But you know, the anticipation of this moment is just palpitating. And I'm gonna be honest. I might not sleep tonight. I'm about to get 3 or 4 episodes deep in 7 tonight.
Oh
Like
man.
I am stoked. I am ready for this, and it's just such a. It was a good way to end the season. As a finale goes, that was a hell of a way to go out, and just seeing all these armies come together.
We've been waiting 6 seasons to see her on a damn ship headed to Westeros. It
Right.
finally happened. We've been
Finally
waiting.
converging.
After 6 seasons.
Plot lines. Finally, 6
Seasons.
seasons worth of development to get her to get a big enough army to go face off against the Lannisters in Westeros.
All right, Lo.
But see, you know, to that point though, Larry, it feels earned. You know what I mean? We it took us so long, but then when we got it, it's like, look at it.
Yeah.
Sand snake. Oh.
Yeah. Like I say, like unlike Lo, I was rooting for Cersei at some points in time because it's like, look, I don't want to root for Cersei, but like these High Sparrows, they gotta go. Like
Somebody's got to take them out, and if it's got to be Cersei, so be it.
like unfortunately, her plan went a little bit too wild. No pun intended, the wildfire. But
catch Marjorie.
Nice.
Yeah, it went a little bit too crazy because I was okay with the High Sparrow and his followers, but you had to throw in Marjorie and Loras into that too, and I guess Tommen, but I didn't really like Tommen, but mostly Marjorie and Loras.
Well, Lo, you said you're about to just jump right in. Now, where everybody left off this season, what kind of predictions do you have for season 7?
Well, the way it looks, I feel like we are building up to this grand battle at King's Landing. I'm just curious if it's going to come at the end of the season or at the beginning of the season. It's kind of, I'm in the middle there. But I think my biggest thing is I don't really have predictions, so to say, but I'm really curious how Arya fits into all this. I'm not quite sure. Like, I know she killed Walter Frey, obviously, but I'm just curious, what's her next step? You know what I mean? Is she gonna stumble into Winterfell? Is she like, I'm still trying to figure that out, and I know Brienne is looking out for her as well, right? So I'm still trying to figure out where Brienne is.
Presumably, she's on a river.
Right. Last time
she's on a river back north,
floating somewhere.
No, you're right. Last time we saw her, she was on a boat.
Yeah.
She was waving to Jamie.
I think if I have to make a prediction, I'm not great at it, and everybody at the Suit Up Geeks know that's not my bag. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not good at it. I try not to, but I will say I have a feeling Jamie is going to side against Cersei. I think that wildfire is a line that she probably shouldn't have crossed with him. At least that's how I feel. Because up until this point, minus the incest and minus him pushing Bran out the window in the first episode. There's a lot of honorable qualities to him, even going to the Kingslayer thing, which he's been so wrongfully accused of murdering this mad king when he was saving people. So I think there's a lot of things on Jamie that he's earned my trust. So I'm trusting him to hopefully choose the right side here. So that's my prediction, and hopefully he does it.
Tyler?
I mean, I kind of already said some of them, while I was talking about some of those storylines. I feel like it's going to be Lannisters versus Daenerys' giant army of Dorne, the Martell, and everybody else in between, the Greyjoys. Everybody hates Lannisters. I mean, let's be real. They've done a lot of damage in this show. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if we're going to play into wherever Euron is, because obviously he hates Theon and Yara, I figure if he's going to be involved in this at all, he would probably be on Cersei's side to some degree, just because he hates his other relatives. But we'll see. I mean, he's been sailing somewhere looking for him, I guess. We didn't really get any more follow-up after Yara and Theon left. Maybe we'll see Gendry. Gendry. I just think it's funny that Gendry's just been paddling somewhere for like seasons now. Never to be seen
maybe
again.
Brienne's going to be paddling as long as Gendry.
But yeah,
hold on, remind me. I don't even know where he's at. So what?
Nobody does.
Last time we saw him was at the end of season 3. Davos saved him from the Red Woman and sent him.
Oh, you're
sailing.
right.
Yeah,
you're right.
They were
So
going
we
to
don't know
kill
where he's
him.
But any other predictions I can think of? John and them going to be still plotting, I guess, with the winter's here now. It's coming, so I guess we still got to.
Any Littlefinger predictions?
I mean, he's always conniving and sneaky. He's got something up his sleeve to try and probably take out John and somehow finagle his way into getting with Sansa in one way or another. Because it's crazy to me because it's like you have this giant war probably on the horizon between Daenerys and like several other houses backing her versus the Lannisters, and then here's Littlefinger trying to somehow get the throne and all of this. I just think that's so funny to me. Comparing the big battles versus just the way he's weaseling his way in. I mean, I don't like Littlefinger, but I just find that part kind of humorous. Arya could she could go in a bunch of different directions. I mean, I guess she has a couple people still left on her list.
Yeah, she does.
We just saw her take out another big one. Cersei on her list? I don't remember.
Cersei is on her list.
If I remember correctly, the people that were left on the list that are alive. So, I mean, not a shocker there. People don't like the Lannisters. So, I mean, maybe she can head back over there too and join in on the fun, try and take out Cersei Lannister. I mean, pick a number, I guess, at this point. Everybody wants to take out Cersei Lannister. I figure we'll learn more about Bran and what he's doing, and his prophecies and all of that magic, whatever you want to call that, supernatural elements. So I figure we're going to have to see some White Walkers because, we're talking about winter's coming and they can't cross, these barriers. That stuff was kind of fascinating to me. Will we see Samwell become a maester by the end of next season? We're gonna have this big giant war going on between Drogon, Viserion, and all of them in the Lannister armies, and we're just gonna cut to Samwell learning to become a maester. Yeah.
Or he's gonna have like a graduation ceremony. Meanwhile, people are like dying.
You just see planes behind him, like a dragon flies by torching something as he's like graduating.
Good for him if he graduates. Those are at least the ones I can think of prediction wise, as far as like who's left.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about Sam, but good for Sam.
Will the baby ever walk? That's the next question, really. That baby. That baby should be how old by now?
Where will Gilly and them go?
Time has passed, right?
Season 3, I think, is when that baby was born too. So, I mean, he should be of walking age. What's going on?
It was getting to be a big baby.
He's getting big, but it's time to listen. We don't need another milk boy, Gilly. Okay, like put him on the ground and let him start moving for himself. Don't breastfeed him till he's 10, please. And then, Lo, who were your fave and least favorite characters of this episode?
Oh, well, I mean, we didn't get enough of Arya, but I mean, like I said, that was the highlight for me. If we were in a theater, I would have stood up and been like, "Yeah!"
Oh man!
I would have stood up and cheered for that moment. But I guess, I mean, she wasn't integral to the entire episode. I guess, I mean, you got to give it to John. I mean, as much as everybody and their mom talks about that moment, that was an epic moment, and he showed the heart of a warrior, and he showed. I mean, despite how foolish he was being, he showed everybody behind him, like, this is a guy that will die for you. This is a guy that you want to fight for. So I thought that was epic. I mean, probably Jon Snow's best moment, and that's the one that everybody talks about, right? I see everybody post the GIF and all that. And least favorite, I feel like more so than the Iron Throne, I think Baelish really wants to get in Sansa's pants, and I ain't having that. I think he wants her more than he wants the throne. If I'm being honest, he's just so like, oh, Sansa, I will never hurt you. Oh, I will protect you. I'm here for you. It's like, yo, just
like that.
Oh God,
he was like that with her mom too. So
yeah, no, seriously, he's such a creep. He's such a creep. And to be fair though, I want to give some shouts out to Sansa because she is coming in her own, like you were saying earlier, Tyler. And I think lots of shades of Catelyn Stark is coming through, and with her, round up the Knights of the Vale. Even though she had to work with Littlefinger, she did what needed to be done to protect her army and Jon, and I thought that was brilliant. So shouts out Jon. I hate Littlefinger, but Sansa, good on you too.
I love that you didn't put Cersei in the bad when she just blew up like a large chunk of the cast.
I really thought Cersei was about to be that top pick for Lo. But
I already roasted her. I said my piece on her. I think it's just known. I've never liked her. So
yeah, no, this episode, I think, this and last episode, but more so this episode because we see the fallout of it. kind of shows Sansa maybe she's learned from Littlefinger himself and Cersei and all the rest, Catelyn, because you really see, yeah, she did what needed to be done, and in her own way used Littlefinger's weakness against him. Guilt. She laid that guilt on thick earlier this season about, you're the one who sent me to Ramsay. Let's not forget, sir. To her advantage, and didn't really have to give him back anything in return, at least this episode. I mean, I guess we don't know. Littlefinger is always scheming, so we don't know what might be. But all right, Tyler, who were your faves and least faves?
I mean, Daenerys, Jon, Lyanna Mormont in her small little roles, great. Olenna, I mean, all of them. They're always characters I enjoy. Arya, Tyrion, pretty much all of that camp. Really, I mean, realistically, I've always, like all of that. Well, I guess it's kind of just all the Daenerys camp now because they're all under Team Daenerys.
Daenerys.
Daenerys, the Tyrells, Dorne. Well, Tyrell, not Tyrells. It's just one now.
I know. She's
but they were also great. Sansa was great as well. Disliked Screw Walder Frey. I'm glad that he got murdered. See, he sucked. Littlefinger always sucks. Never liked Littlefinger. Hopefully he dies next season. We'll fingers crossed. I mean, we have 2 seasons left, so hopefully sooner rather.
Cross your little fingers.
Yeah, there you go. Little fingers crossed. I mean, I have to put Cersei in here. Like, I can't not put her in there. She blew up the Sept. Like,
she killed Marjorie. I'm sorry. You're right. I think she takes it over Littlefinger. I'm just living in the moment. That I just don't like Littlefinger getting at Sansa. I don't
either. But Cersei
just like
blew up the Sept, killed the entire Sparrow clan.
Yeah.
The High Sparrow, Marjorie, Loras, Lancel, Pycelle, I guess, kind of in a way too. Kevin, that guy or girl that got hit by that bell. Just random people just around. Right. Got Tommen, so distraught that he jumped out a window to his death. I guess put Tommen on there too because he sucks. Yeah, that should probably do it as far as
one more. Tommen got to go on one more time.
I'm sorry, he was a terrible leader. He did not. Well, I use lead very loosely because he was manipulated pretty much by somebody the entire time he was in charge.
Gotta pour one out for all these people that died, and maybe most importantly, pour one out for poor Dario.
Yeah, Dario.
He's still here with us on Earth, but his spirit was killed this episode. So pour one out for Dario. Well, that was our reaction and discussion for season 6, episode 10, The Winds of Winter. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos, including our season 6 character ranking that'll be happening live, and of course our reactions for season 7 and 8 still to come. Lo, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. It's always such a pleasure to have you here on the channel. Do you want to let anyone know where they can find you?
Sure. Thank you guys for having me. It was truly a great time. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcellus Durden and Letterboxd, and I'm a proud member of the Suit Up Geeks. Follow us at the Suit Up Geeks. And yeah, thank you guys. This was seriously awesome. I had a great time. Thank you so much.
All right, and Tyler.
Well, obviously, you can always find me here reacting to something with Larry, whether it be Game of Thrones or something else. But you can also find me on my own channel, Tyler Calvert, for reviews, rankings, reactions, unboxings, a bunch of other stuff. Twitter and Instagram, it's Tyler Calvert. That's usually where I talk about a lot of stuff on there. That's not video related, I guess.
Perfect. And make sure to leave your thoughts on the season 6 finale. Do you think it's the best finale for the season so far in Game of Thrones? Or do you think another takes that crown? Let us know your thoughts, especially when you first watched, on everything. Literally, like, so much happened in this freaking episode. Let us know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit all 3 of us up over on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.